We're back again in the same day to do another episode because I feel like this one is a great intro episode. So I wanted to add this as a tag along for the first episode. The first episode we covered a couple different topics that are very good for an intro. But this one right here is very, very good because it is perfect for anyone who is looking for some inspiration on why they should do videos, even if they think they aren't a good person to do videos. Maybe I should backtrack a bit. Maybe you shouldn't do videos. Maybe you should just put yourself out there in a way that isn't comfortable to you, but is going to actually benefit you a lot in the future. And this is something I think is very much something I have to appreciate about myself. I am willing to put myself out there and make myself look very dumb and make myself look like a fool, but there's going to be payoff in the long run for doing a lot of these things that make me look dumb. It's definitely not only going to help me self-reflect and see the things that I am not super happy about with myself, but it's also going to be something that is going to show me things that I have to work on and just help me grow. So it is definitely something that is going to keep me humble and all that as well. It is definitely something that some people might not enjoy watching along with, but others will be very much inspired by. So it's definitely going to be targeting a certain group of people with this message, but I hope everyone can get inspiration from it. Even if you're very much above this and you're someone that's already surpassed this level of overcoming your fears of self-reflection and all that, I hope it's still something that people can watch along with and enjoy. So that's one thing I really want to speak on right now, is why I don't think I'm necessarily someone who is good to be on camera, but me overcoming it is great for me. I think that I'm personally someone who is very much someone who criticizes myself a lot. I probably am my own worst critic, which is a very good and a very, very bad thing. It's something that is always going to keep me back in a lot of ways, but it's also going to strengthen me in a lot of ways as well. So, as I mentioned, a yin and a yang. It's the same thing with almost anything in life. There's always going to be benefits and there's going to be things that aren't necessarily super good about it. So, the factor of me being able to self-reflect and be honest with myself in that way is major. It's a nice thing, but I think it all comes from diabetes. At the end of the day, I don't want to talk about diabetes too much because I think it's probably going to be something that some people look at in a pitiful way, and that's not what I'm trying to get. I'm not trying to get that at all. I think that diabetes is very much the thing that helps me have the character that I have and be able to maintain the principles that I have as well. Diabetes is something that makes me self-reflect a lot and keeps me very humble, and a lot of people might not look at me as a humble person, but I think I am. I think that diabetes definitely keeps me a lot more humble than I would be if I didn't have it. Let's say it like that, I guess. And I'm very much grateful for it. As much as it's something that isn't going to be my biggest superpower, it's definitely going to be something that, as I mentioned, keeps me humble and keeps me level-headed and grounded, which is great in the long run. I think that diabetes is something that I have to use as the thing that I give credit to, because it's definitely something that woke me up a lot. I was definitely a very stubborn, hard-headed kid who was ready to cause a lot of trouble for not only me, but everyone around me. And that was something that kind of showed me that diabetes, shrooms, and stuff along those lines is stuff that actually gave me a very weird awakening to what was the dumb moves that I was doing in order to get these bad results. And anyone knows the definition of insanity is constantly doing the same thing getting the same result but expecting a different result. It is just insanity. So you have to find a way to get yourself out of that cycle, and the way that I was somehow through diabetes and somehow through shrooms, which is a very easy way of saying it. I guess martial arts also played a huge role in that, doing videos and getting myself out of a bubble that I was getting myself in is also very much something I should talk about as well. But martial arts, I would definitely say, is a huge factor as well. I will say that martial arts is something that not only got me out of my comfort zone, but it also humbled me in a lot more ways as well. I was someone who was going around, as I mentioned, very stubborn, very hard-headed, thinking that my shit didn't stink. And one of the first days that I walked into the gym, it was actually at the gym Lozon's. It's ran by Joe Lozon, which is a very honorable man. He's someone who's definitely ready to sacrifice a lot. He's every single fight that I've seen of his, he's gone out of it with a just completely bloody face and almost has this psychopathic aura to him that is intimidating in itself. But he's very interesting. He's someone who I very much admire and look at as a interesting person, because him and his brother used to just fight in the backyard, and just somehow, some way, they were able to both go pro and make a name for themselves. But going to his gym was something that I was looking at as an opportunity to kind of show off in a way. I have to admit it. I was kind of looking as an opportunity to show off. I thought I was this tough character that was going to be able to just run through absolutely anyone. That wasn't the case. I don't think it was the first day. I believe it was actually the second day I went there. We were sparring, and it didn't go well for me. Let's say it like that. I left looking like Joe Lozon. Let's say it like that. It didn't go good for me. I could make a lot of excuses on why. At the end of the day, the real reason was because I was not moving my feet. I was not moving properly. I had no defensive skills at all, and it was purely just me putting myself in a bad position, and the person capitalized on me being in the position to be capitalized on. Very much a mistake in my part. It was all things that I can fix, and me going up against that person now, it would not be the same. Let's just say it like that, without ego being involved, it would not be the same. Let's move past that though. Why did I get into martial arts? It was purely in the beginning to become an actor. Maybe. That was like the thing that I was telling myself. But I think that it is definitely something that also helped me kind of get out of that just bitch-made comfort zone that I was putting myself in, where I was just making excuses and giving myself opportunities to say, oh, I could do this or I could do that, but you can't. You really can't. You have to do what you have to do, or you're going to get punished. It's going to happen eventually down the line. Whether or not it's going to be the first day, the second day, you're going to get punished if you don't do your homework or do what you have to do to fucking be in the shape or the technical level where you're actually able to move your feet and get out of the way of those punches, because you will be at the end of those punches you don't want to be at. So definitely think that was a huge factor in just allowing me to get out of that comfort zone and just enter this place where I feel comfortable with myself. But with all this being said, let's get back to the main topic of why I started this. I think that I personally was very self-reflecting on all of my insecurities, all of the things that I look at to be weaknesses, and now I've found a way of just self-reflecting on those things and coming to a grasp of understanding that I know that those things will never necessarily be my strengths, but they don't have to necessarily be my downfalls. They can definitely be things that can elevate me in ways as well as my strengths can. So I hope this makes sense. I hope this is something that can motivate someone else in the future. I strongly believe once you can come to grips with all of your weaknesses, all of your insecurities, and at least face them, notice them, know that they are real things, then you can master the ability to just have the patience of staying calm in certain situations where you might have unleashed anger that is not necessarily going to help you. Or, let's say, just do things that you don't want to do. Let's say it like that. But with all this being said, I hope this is something that people followed along with in a way that is motivational in some way. I know I'm not necessarily at any level to motivate people that have all of these luxurious things, but this is one thing that any humble person will notice, is that you can learn a very great lesson from the person that's at the bottom of the barrel or the person that's steadily at the top. It's up to you what you listen to and what you interpret and what you actually use as a thing that's going to fuel your fire. So I've tried to find all of these different things to fuel my fire. It seems to kind of be working. Kind of. It's definitely not having the results that I'm aiming to get, but that is maybe the perfectionist in me, maybe. I don't know. I think that there's still a lot more to come to grips on, come to understanding on. I'm not perfect, very far from it, and I'm definitely in a weird route of making a lot of mistakes in my path of trying to figure out what is right. So, anyone that follows along in this journey, much love and respect. There's definitely going to be a lot more to come, and I hope this was listenable. So, much love.